It is Lomaine.
And this is the evocative Esther Jade.
And we are part of the Girl
What podcast?
Today's episode, we are talking about the RVA reality check. So the episode is called Girl What? This is the RVA reality check.
So we're going to jump right into What's the Tea, sis? And the topic is thrifting fashion in RVA. Ooh, yes. How do you feel about thrifting?
Excuse me, I'm new to it, but no, let me not say I'm new to it. I'm new to it for myself. So, my child is now 15, but when he was younger, I definitely was one of those moms who, after a while, got tired of spending the money at Carter's and all that jazz. But initially, I wasn't the thrift mom. I was the one who was giving stuff to others. So I guess I could say I may have introduced others to thrift. But then once I found out about like the consignment shops and everything like that, like I became a true fan. And, it definitely turns me around for him just because, of course, kids grow out of clothes in 2.5 seconds.
Oh, yes.
It's like you blink and they're needing a bigger size.
You just wore this last week.
Right. And now you can't wear it. So definitely I did more for him than I did for myself. Honestly, for me, I honestly just bought from a thrift store for the first time, like within the last few years.
Man, you're missing all the wonderfulness. Like there's Poshmark. You can buy stuff on eBay. It's all sorts of wonderful places. You can even find thrifting influencers on Instagram.
So I didn't realize Poshmark was a thrifting site.
Yes.
So it's funny because I actually just got I just got a final purchase today from somebody who had sold something too. So yeah.
Ooh, what'd you get?
No. They had bought like a white dress of mine. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, why thrift? Okay. Here's the benefits of thrifting: sustainability, unique style, and budget-friendly fashion. So you might be asking, what is sustainability? Sustainability means taking care of the planet so that people and nature can live and thrive now and in the future. It's about using resources wisely and not wasting them so there's enough for everyone down the road. So thrifting is literally changing the game when it comes to how we think about fashion. So first up, sustainability. Fast fashion is one of the biggest polluters in the world, right? By choosing to thrift, we're giving clothes a second, third, and sometimes a fourth life. And that means less waste clogging up landfills. Plus, it's budget friendly, and we all know how expensive it is to keep up with the fashion trends these days. Thrifting lets you build a stylish wardrobe without breaking the bank. You can find high quality, sometimes designer items for a fraction of the price, and that's smart shopping, y'all. Like I recently bought, I had been in the market for a black slacks, and I wanted something that fitted me nicely, and I went to Uptown Cheapskate, actually around from you. And I actually found a pair, but they were designer. And they were about a little bit over $36.
Right.
Which I was willing to pay that because of the tailoring. So how thrifting supports circular fashion and reduces waste. It's not just about recycling clothes. It's about supporting circular fashion instead of fast fashion, where items keep moving, get reused, remixed, and revived instead of tossed. That's huge for the planet, especially here in RVA, where people really care about community and environment. So sustainability, unique style, and saving money, thrifting checks all of these boxes. It's a lifestyle choice that's good for the environment, your wallet, and your self-expression. So where are some of the places like you like to thrift?
So again, Poshmark is definitely a go-to, but then Liberation Thrift is the thrift store that my church actually owns, and I laugh because not too long ago I went in there and they were having like a $3 sale. So all the clothes were $3, and like I actually found a Michael Kors dress for $3. So it's always a win because it's like, while I'm not like a big fashion brand whore, like anytime you find something like that for $3 or anything cheap, it's like, oh, like, why not add this to my collection, because it's going to be great. And it's I love animal print. Like, I absolutely love leopard print, and it was a leopard print dress. So I'm like, oh, like, why not? $3? Oh, yes, this is mine.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I liked So one of my favorite places to go is Buffalo Exchange because it's like more trendy stuff. Also, I have one of my favorite pieces that I bought was a vintage one-piece bathing suit that was like from the 70s.
Okay.
And it's giving very Barbie vibes. It was a little expensive, and I bought a silk kimono, yellow kimono robe. It was like $90.
Oh, wow.
But because it was silk, and I wear it very sparingly. But I also like thrifting for my kids because, as you said, they grow out of stuff, and I go to Kid a lot because they have a great incentive program where they can give you cash or they give you a little bit more in-store credit. Yeah, and I feel like that's worth it. And they just actually moved from their Brandon Mill location further up into Chesterfield off of Hull Street and Courthouse, and it's way bigger. So it's like, oh my God! I took Eden a couple weeks ago to go shopping for her costume, and we put her costume together with pieces that we found there. So she's Glinda the Good Witch.
Look, and I'm digging in. Which side of is it on this side? This is my fat kid coming out. The same side as like Bojangles and Gabe's, or is it like where the old movie theater used to be?
It's right next to Latin Quarter. Oh. Yeah. So you can get your shopping on,
go get and then
go big with a big bag. So with that in mind, we're talking about styling tips for thrift finds. So you can play with mixing and matching thrift pieces with modern wardrobe staples, and I love that because it gives you more of an authentic look and feel instead of having to rely on something you saw on TV or on someone else. I mean, those are great inspirations, and I have Pinterest boards of stuff that I really like. Like for our Mommy and Me tea party, I have a whole bunch of ideas, and I loved making that so that other people could get some ideas of how to dress. Tips for spotting quality items and avoiding fast fashion traps. First things first, check the fabric. Natural fabrics like cotton, wool, silk, and linen usually last longer and feel much better than synthetics ones like polyester or neon. So stay away from those. If you see a piece that feels sturdy and soft, that's a good sign. Inspect the stitching by looking inside the seams. Did you check inside the seams of that Michael Kors dress?
I did.
What was it looking like?
It was good.
It was good? Okay.
Because a little known secret, I also know how to sew. So what? I definitely,
we need to get you back down to the sewing place. All things new. We need to take you down there. So, like Lo, inspect the stitching by looking inside the seams. If the stitching is tight, even, and no loose threads or holes, then the garment was made with care and built to last. Check for wear and tear. That's very important. I can't tell you how many times I maybe bought 2 things for my kids where they had stains or some sort of rip. And if I did and I really wanted it and I knew I could fix it, I'd be like, give me a discount, please. Yeah. So there's that too. So if you're handy with a needle and a thread or a sewing machine, that's a good bet for you. Watch out for fast fashion traps like super thin fabrics that peels easily or pieces that feel cheap and are falling apart. Fast fashion is about mass production and low cost, which often means lower quality. Also, know your brands. Trust your gut and take your time. So be creative, do DIY ideas to personalize your thrift pieces. Also, community and culture. How thrifting connects people in RVA and builds a sense of community. That is a big must. Like I talk to a lot of people, and more people are doing that. Yeah, which I think is great. And check out stores of local thrifters or influencers who rock the RVA thrift styles. And I'll have some of those influencers in our YouTube description when we upload. So what did you think about the thrifting? Like, have you become a true believer in thrifting?
I honestly, especially now with me being unemployed, I'm a true believer in anything that can save me money. But I also laugh because
you should be a true believer forever.
You talk about fast fashion, and I'm a huge fan of the Shein and the Temus. So,
Girl, those chemicals are gonna kill you.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, like I hear people saying such and such, but the thing is also I've realized a lot of times now, a lot of items that they sell are things that a lot of wholesalers are selling, but it's like they'll buy them from a place like a Shein or a Temu, and then they'll hike up the price.
Yep.
Where it's like, if you get it directly from Shein or Temu, of course, because they are originated overseas, you're pretty much paying that direct price rather than the 100% markup that a store would charge you.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of times I'm getting, because my child is in his sweatpant and hoodie phase, like if I'm not getting them from a Walmart or something like that, like if he wants something with like a design on it, I'll get it from Temu or Shein, and I'm not even paying like no more than $15 for the set. So it's like, that's something that lasts. It's a good quality, because I definitely also, one thing, no matter where I am, if I'm doing it online or anything, like I'm reading reviews. So that's something that's like imperative as well, because it's like a lot of people are like, oh, this is cute. But then it's like when you get it, like you said, just, kind of reiterating what you said, the quality of the material is crap. So, it's like, why, like I spent so much money on this, but the quality is definitely not worth the amount that I paid. So, with stuff like that. But yeah, no, I'm still going to be a believer of thrifting. It just took me to lose my job to really get into it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the Capricorn in me likes to keep all the coins in my pocket. So if I can still look fly, getting pieces from thrift stores. I've even purchased from online, influencers, like thrift influencers, who like she goes around and she shows you pieces that she gets, and you tell her like, oh my God, I'd really like this. Right. And she has you fill out a whole form of like your sizes and your style. Like one time I got like these white booties, a long green skirt, which I still have, an Adidas zip up, like one of those thin hoodies without the hood on it. I still have the skirt and I still have the hoodie, but I gave away the boots because the boots hurt my feet. Yeah. But I was able to sell that to a thrift store and put it on my books to get something else. I'm gonna say, but I love, because I was playing with that. Like that, those are pieces I picked to put that outfit together. Right. And she actually helped me too. She's like, oh, I think these shoes would go better. But really, I think she was just trying to get rid of those boots.
They probably hurt her feet too.
Well, I mean, intentionally she did buy a couple of those pieces for herself, but like she really knows how to shop, and she lives in a very nice part or she shops in a very nice part of she lives right outside of LA, so she goes like to the Beverly Hills
and all that.
Well, where I forget the name of the neighborhood, but it's like
Calabasas.
I won't say Calabasas, but like wherever the rich people send their stuff to, Then
she's going there.
Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, this is nice. And she sells on Poshmark, which is great. But usually when I haven't watched her lately because I have been checking out of shopping and trying to, just take care of home and all of that. But when I do get in the mood, I'll go to her page and be like, what does she got? And, it's really great. It's really, it's fulfilling because I'm recycling, right? Yep. And I try to go to locally owned. I don't go to Goodwill. I don't go to Salvation Army because they don't pay their people very well. Right. So it's like, and they make more, by, they spend very low on their employees and they make bank. So that's just my personal choice. But yes, I am a true believer in thrifting since my first child, 16 years old, was born, because I had been gifted a bunch of baby clothes. Right. And it was like, why do I need to go out and buy more? Like I got it was a huge box. So that was a blessing. So that's what kind of got me started. Right. So yeah, I've got a lot of young cousins that actually go thrifting too, which is amazing to see young people doing that. Well, I'm glad you converted.
Yes, I am. I have found the light. So where are you, and when I say you, I mean the listeners, where are some of your places around town that you enjoy thrifting? What are some gems that you enjoy looking for when you go thrifting? Again, as we always let you all know, drop it in our, DMs. Let us know under our posts. What are some of your favorites so we can check them out as well. So again, we're going to be back after the break. Thank y'all. Keep on listening.
Keep on listening. Welcome back to Girl, What podcast. And we're going to jump into our next segment, Love, Baby, and Other Grown Folks Business. Our topic for this episode will be inflation upon the community. Yes, I don't like it.
So, everybody knows nowadays when you step outside, it's $2,000, just to take a breath of fresh air. So, this is definitely going to be something that some may be surprised about. Others may be like, oh, yeah, I knew that or I figured that. Just before I get into this, I want to let you all know that I have gotten my information from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Their website is bls.gov. So again, these,
yeah, we'll put that link in the YouTube description as well. So,
and these statistics were updated as of September 3rd of this year. But again, it's the Richmond, Virginia area economic summary. I'm sorry. But yeah, so pretty much the unemployment rates, they have it broken down by the United States, and then they have Richmond and some surrounding areas as well. One thing that actually kind of surprised me was the employment rate for the country as well as the local area. It didn't increase that much. While every area did increase, of course, it wasn't as big of a jump as I would have expected it to be. So for the country overall, it went from, a 4.5% unemployment rate to 4.6%. So again, that's only 0.2% of a percentage, but with the amount of people in the country, it is a lot, but still, like, not as much as I would think it would be.
But I'd like to see the demographics, because the demographics matter. Because, again, 319,000 Black women lost their jobs.
But and that was just government.
Over 300,000 white men gained jobs. Mm-hmm. Wonder where they got the jobs from. But continue, please.
Yeah, and so in the Richmond area, it went from 3.3% to 3.7%. In Chesterfield County, it went from 3.2 to 3.5. Hanover went from 2.8 to 3.2. Henrico went from 3.2 to 3.7. And Richmond City proper went from 3.6 to 4.2. So again, that's from July 2024 to July 2025, which again makes a significant difference, but I would have expected it to be more. Just as Esther mentioned earlier, 319,000 women, Black women specifically, lost their government jobs. So again, that was just government layoffs. So with the DEI changes, only God knows how many other people.
The new DEI.
They could only think about how many people really lost their jobs, Mm-hmm. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, yes, I understand you're focusing on the government, but let's do an overall picture, like, of how many people were misplaced or lost what they had. I'm one of those people. So it's just, been one of those things where it's like, of course, even being out here, it's hard to get a job. Like, it's just like, because there are so many people in the same predicament looking for positions at this point, it's like, I feel like it's starting to become a dog-eat-dog world.
Well, also, they're gonna start lowballing people. So people are gonna be further in debt because they're not finding jobs that match their skill, right? And then all of a sudden, you're gonna be, $20,000 in debt, but you have a $20,000 a year job. Mm-hmm. How are you ever supposed to get out of that hole?
I was laughing. Mm-hmm. I had a conversation with my mom the other day, and I was just talking with her about, me consistently looking for jobs and not being able to find anything. And I was telling her about the TikTok trend, that song. Well, it's a Tina Turner song, but they made it faster, that I'm your tiny dancer. I said,
girl, I've been telling you the
I said, don't judge me on the side if you see me tiny dancing, mama. And she's just like, girl, bye. But,
exactly.
Like, just one of those things where it's like, people are going to, you're going to start seeing people do what they need to do to make money because, like you said, like...
More people. Mm-hmm. More people.
Because it's like, because they are lowballing all these people, it's like, and that's another thing. It's like, I was making a certain amount of money. I'm not, take this how you will, but I'm not trying to go $50,000 lower than that. And I'm like, I know what I'm worth. I know, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the right job will come along if it needs to, but I'm not going to be out here like, oh, yes.
Yeah, they want you working 2, 3, no. $50, $1,100.
No.
Putting yourself into an early grave.
No, ma'am. Not I, said the cat.
This is why community is important, but continue.
Yes, very much so. So then next we have the average weekly wages, and this is covering all industries by the counties. So we laugh at the fact, it's kind of talking about how people ain't making money, the ones that do have jobs. And this just still kind of proves that. So this was in the Richmond area, and this is in the fourth quarter of 2024. It says the United States average was $1,507, and then the Central Virginia area was $1,400 at max. So just to give a little bit of a breakdown, we have Petersburg, that is at $999 or less. And then we have like Sussex, King William, King and Queen, Hanover, and New Kent that are between $1,000 and $1,199. And then moving on up a little bit, we have Chesterfield, Henrico, Charles City, and Dinwiddie that are at between $1,200 and $1,399. And then there are only 2 areas that are $1,400 or above. Can you guess what those are?
Short Pump. No, you said Henrico already. I think I remember this. Goochland. What's the other one?
This Richmond City proper.
Oh gosh. Well, that makes sense because they're trying to gentrify everything.
But not only gentrify, because think about it. All of the jobs, like the main job, people are having to go into the city. So I'm not sure. One thing they don't clarify as to is it whether or not they're basing it off of the residents or if they're basing it off of like the locations of where the jobs are. Because, that can make a huge difference too. Like, of course, you have all your government buildings in Richmond. And then, of course, downtown, of course, just everybody goes downtown for stuff. So I feel like I think it's based upon the people they want there, so they're trying to price people out. Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
but
none of it's real.
If you drive up to Churchill or Highland Park right now, you'll see very random houses that don't fit at all.
I mean, I don't believe in inflation. It's a lie, in my opinion. Like it's just like money. They make up this concept so they can hide greed. We could sustain our communities by flatlining. If more people would resist trying to get fast things in their life, like fast fashion, shopping at chains, if you would reallocate that to local people who are producing goods instead of going to Walmart, Target, any of those, Kroger, all of that, they're all bad for you. They fund your oppression, and that's just my opinion.
So, speaking on that, and it's like, of course, I laugh because I looked at something online the other day because I was even talking about like how we want to support like local farmers and things like that. But I chuckled because it's like I had gone onto like a few websites of people who like were selling their produce and everything like that, and they were sold out. And I'm just like, I think it's interesting. It's like, is it because clearly I'm no farmer, so I don't know these things. Do certain chickens like drop eggs certain times of the year? Or how does that work?
So when it gets closer to the colder months, chickens don't lay eggs, or they lay very few.
Gotcha.
And then, chicken farmers, they grow them and they have to take time. So it's like they're not mass producing it like we're used to when you're always going in the grocery store and you have those items available to you at all times. That's what's wrong with mass production. That's why they're putting drugs and chemicals into these animals to make them beefed up. Whereas when you're going to someone who's doing local, they have cycles of when they kill their chickens and eggs, and eggs are plentiful during the warm months.
Mm-hmm.
So I just know that because I go to the farmers market. But you have one right around the corner from you. It's on Thursdays.
Oh, I know.
Do you go?
I haven't been recently because during the times they volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteer during the times, but I used to go all the time. And actually, I don't even know if this man is out there still, but there was a guy and he used to make whipped honey, like whipped cinnamon honey,
mm-hmm.
and it like would be divine.
Maybe
in my
it's the
tea.
cheese guy. That might be the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go back.
Well, I don't have time.
You better make time.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm just saying. I go my meat farmer. I go every Tuesday or Wednesday. I go online, place my order, pay it, and I go pick it up on Saturday.
But see, and that's the thing because it's a Saturday, so you don't have not saying you don't have anything to do, but you know what I'm saying. It's more.
I gotta get mad early.
It's more accessible to do something on a Saturday than on a Thursday.
Well, I can Thursday. If I know I can't get out on Saturday, I come here to the one in Bon Air. Mm-hmm.
We could talk off.
Okay.
But but I get that. And, just again, if you go to bls.gov, you can put in any area. They'll let you know, the economic summary for that area. You can learn more. Even if you want to do it for the Richmond area, they have a section that, shows you the employment on non-farm payrolls. As mentioned earlier, they do it for the country, and then they specify the Richmond area. They have it broken down by the non-farming areas and the different areas that people are getting paid from. They have a lot of interesting information. They do the different occupations. They have the average annual spending. Just a lot of information. Prices paid by urban consumers for selected categories. So, definitely selling prices. There's a lot of interesting things that are on here that definitely could be beneficial.
Well, there you have it. I still think inflation's imaginary, though. I mean, look, we're on a floating rock paying bills when we could be on the SS Enterprise, y'all. I'm just saying. Start, I swear.
It's a lot of things we could do on our own, but just people have gotten so comfortable with having someone else doing it for them.
Well, I get that, but you have to start because more people are getting uncomfortable. They have, and say, for instance, Black people have been know what it like. We know what's coming down the pipeline. We have been living with less, excuse me. And now there's more people who have been eating off of the fat of the land. Now they have to figure something out.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because they're looking towards us and we're like, what you gonna do? What are you willing to do?
We gonna do what we know to do for ourselves.
So you have to be community. In community is very important.
Yeah. If
you're not in community or you're only trying to reap the benefits of the work of someone else, you will never escape your own oppression.
Yeah.
So
true.
If you want this to end, get together. The revolution will not be televised.
It won't be. Just notice that. It won't be televised at all.
No.
So don't be surprised when they start popping out and showing you.
Yes.
As Brother Kendrick told us, sometimes you got to pop out and show them, okay?
That's right. Jumping into our DMs on Instagram if you want to join in the conversation. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yes, and we'll give you that information at the end. Y'all join us in just a few. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Girl What podcast. We're going to jump into the group chat got deep, and we are going to talk about homelessness and RVA.
Yes, ma'am, we are going to talk about homelessness and RVA.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody, this is Lo Main popping in. Ficky. But, we're going to be talking about the homelessness rates in Richmond. Most of the information, actually all of the information that I received was from Homeward VA, which is a website that focuses on homelessness in the Central Virginia region. I have a couple of documents that I did get from there, or documents and information that I did receive from their website, just regarding homelessness and the different aspects that have caused it to change or make the differences over the course of a year. So from July 2024 to July 2025. I'm going to start off with a news release that Homeward put out earlier this year, back in March. And they called it Homeward Releases the Data from Winter Point in Time Count for 2025. And just to give you a little background, the point in time count is something that Homeward VA does a few times throughout the year, where they're providing a snapshot, a 24-hour snapshot of homelessness in the Central Virginia region. So with this news release, a couple of things that pointed out to me. Again, this was on March 4th, 2025, when this news release was done. One of the main things that it did focus on, it stated that the January 2025 PIT count records recorded 660 people that experienced homelessness. And then also, the number of individuals that did experience unsheltered homelessness, those were, and then when they refer to, unsheltered homelessness, they're referring to people who are staying outdoors in cars and other places that are not meant for habitation. That number was 143 people, which is actually lower from 206 that were recorded as unsheltered in January of 2024. And the main reason for the decline in the unsheltered homelessness population for the January 2025 PIT count was due to the extreme cold weather that we did have, during those months. If you all can remember, January was chaotic. And I just kind of chuckle, just because it was one of those times where the past few years we hadn't had any snow. Then it was like Mother Nature said, all right, y'all have been complaining about not getting snow, so let's come back with a vengeance. It was something where everybody was out of school, like the kids were out of school. They had just come off of their winter break, and so they had an additional week of school. And then that was also the same time as the water crisis. So it was just chaos in January in the Richmond area. But, definitely because of that, that actually allowed a lot of shelters that would usually be open, during the daytime to remain open later. And some even allowed people to stay overnight just so they wouldn't, get to having, frostburn and all the things like that could cause them to freeze and unfortunately possibly die due to, the low cold temperatures.
Yeah.
So, that's dealing with that. Homelessness definitely is something that is very close to me. It's not something that I boast about or tell a lot of people about, but, for a long time, I stayed on my aunt's couch. So while some people may not consider that homelessness, it wasn't my home. So I consider that being homeless, So definitely that's something where I have it very close to my heart. Mm-hmm. People get it, not saying confused, but it's like, of course, because there's so many people nowadays that panhandle, and it's like, they can go walk to their BMW that they've gotten from panhandling. It's like, you really have to kind of discern, like, who you want to help out, who you want to be like, okay, yeah, like, I feel like they need something. And even with me doing the food pantry at my church, like, it's crazy to see how many people are increasingly beginning to come in there, because I know at one point in time we were like, able to give consistently or allow people to get like 2 boxes of food. But now it's like, as we get towards the end, it's like, no, because we have so many more people that are waiting, like we can only do 1 box or, even it's just crazy to see. And a lot of people are, taking the buses just to come to the food pantries and everything like that. So
I saw last week a newsreel where there were service members at a food pantry because they're not being paid. So systemically, so if you don't mind, I want to talk about mention some of the couple of things that causes homelessness in America. That's a lack of affordable health care and poverty. There are factors like unemployment, domestic violence, mental illness, and substance abuse. A lot of this is systemic. We are supposedly the richest country in the world. Mm-hmm. We're sending billions and billions of aid to foreign countries that could be for us. Yep. That could give us affordable health care. That could give us everybody a decent and safe place to live. We'll continue on with the numbers.
No, yeah, that's
I'm
something,
about to get mad.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's something that really does like make my blood boil, because it's like, I understand that they have these alliances and, they've done these things with these other countries, but it's like, you need to take care of home first, because like you mentioned, like, while I understand, yes, like nobody should be homeless, like especially the vets, like they've gone,
but that's intentional.
It's horrible.
But it's intentional. You know why?
It's horrible
because they know how to defend. They were trained to be soldiers. So basically, when you take a group of people and you train them to be killers, you don't want them to use that against you, because they already know. They're on the inside. They know what's going on. That's why they've repeatedly done that to veterans.
But I feel, and this might come off wrong, but I feel like, honestly, why not give them a job like as a police officer or something like that when you get back? You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that because, again, like you said, they're training them to kill people. And I'm not being funny, but I mean, you have all of these other police officers, and I hate to say it like this, but if it's that mindset, you would think the way that they're allowing all of these people from the past that have killed these men and women, specifically men and women of color, oh yeah, we've taught you to do this. Go ahead and get on the police force. Like, continue using what you're doing.
Well, I don't believe in that, because the police, they're nothing but slave catchers. They protect property. They don't protect people. So I think there's a better way to utilize them. Like, first of all, having services to help them debrief and counseling, because there's a lot of PTSD.
Oh, for sure.
And there are soldiers that haven't seen a lick of war, but because they're just adjacent to that, and this is stuff that people don't talk about. And I hear what you're saying, but I'm coming from a more egalitarian kind of view of the world, like, but everything that America's doing is very intentional. So nothing's by accident.
It's all intentional, but again, it sucks that again, as taxpayers, that it's like, you can't get at least what you have paid out at some point in return. Yeah,
but as American citizens, what do we need to do? We need to wake up, and we need a revolution. I mean, like Boston Tea Party. You know what I mean?
And while that would be beautiful,
I think it happened. The revolution starts here in your mind. If you can't see me, I'm pointing to my brain.
But that's the thing. I don't like. If everybody was on that page, oh yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be everybody. It just needs to be 1/3 of the population.
And I don't think that'll happen.
I think it will.
I don't.
There's so many people. Let me tell you, when I go out and I talk about this stuff, I see people's ears perk up, and they kind of like, they want to join in, especially white people, but they're kind of like, well, I don't want to be in their business. But no, no, I'm telling you, it's more than you think. There's more of us than there is them. That's all I'm going to say.
Not saying that there's not people, but I don't think that the people are brave enough to actually do it.
What's brave? I mean, it's all different sorts of...
Brave is doing what you said, like putting it into action.
You can fight on the inside, so there's like these things where you can slow the system down, where you're intentionally doing things to slow the system down. There's different ways.
Oh yeah, no, but have you, and honestly, have you seen any actions from any of these things, like even with the slowing the system down or anything like that? Like, no, I definitely know there's more than one way.
Scale, no, but I've seen different people. Like, I intentionally talk to people. I intentionally tell people, like, when I have conversations with white people and they want to know how to show up for us, or they want to say something to MAGA, I'm like, but they're scared to have like a direct conversation. So you don't need to do that. You go in a space and you take up space. So you just have a conversation about something, people will hear you. That's one way, so that whoever who's a danger knows that they are not allowed to do that. Like, they'll understand that they are, outnumbered. And I don't mean that in a way of committing violence from people, but these people, MAGA is very small. It's very small, and they're filled with this ideology that makes them think that they're bigger, larger, and better, and it's not true. They're really just insecure human beings who want to be heard, who are hurt, and they don't understand that energy needs to be pointed at the system. Yeah. That's all it is.
I understand. So just, again, kind of going, back into, like, the homeless sector. again, just, I got some numbers from Homeward VA.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a point in time count. And then, just as a reminder, that is something that they do a few times throughout the year, which is a 24-hour snapshot of the homeless population in Central Virginia.
Okay.
So with one of the recent snapshots that they did, it included those in shelters, transitional housing, domestic violence shelters, and unsheltered locations. As of July of this year, 680 people were counted. Of those, 333 were sheltered and 347 were sleeping outside. The ones that were counted included 145 families, which had 85 children. All of those did have, shelter homes. There were 59 veterans, just again, as we mentioned, more than it needs to be. And then, unfortunately, there were 161 adults who were over the age of 60. So, that again, just sucks, point blank period. 48% of those people reported that the reason, that they were homeless was due to the rise of the costs.
Yep.
And they're not able to afford what they once were able to afford. No affordable housing, right? Yep. Just kind of, what we were talking about earlier as well. Just, again, walking outside is $2 million. So then another number, 22% stated it was due to a breakdown in the family relationships. So that was kind of interesting to see as well, just, because it's like, you can, so many people say, oh yeah, that's my sister, even though that's not like necessarily a blood relative. But then it's like, okay, I understand everyone is like facing a hard time right now, but it's like also like, I wouldn't necessarily want to see somebody out in the street. So even if it's trying to help them get into a shelter or, doing what they can, if that's what the person wants to help them be safe, that's definitely something that I feel would be something that's required as well. Okay. And so since, 2020, the cost of living in the area, RVA has increased by 40%. As of July, $68,307 was the income that was needed to afford rent in Richmond. And then for a one-bedroom apartment in the city, the average was a little bit over $1,400, and that was just the apartment itself. There was no additional perks or anything like they used to do. Sometimes some people used to use cable and everything like that, but yeah, none of that.
Well, we want to hear from the listeners on this, so you should DM us on Instagram or give us a call or send us an email. Let's roll on into our That's It. So basically we spotlighted some of the RVA community events reflecting on Richmond's rising homelessness and the strain of inflation on our communities and the vibrant thrifting culture, and how we can, as individuals and a collective, support sustainable fashion choices while addressing the root causes of economic disparities and homelessness in our city. So we'd love to hear from you on this episode. We, intentionally try to put things together so that things, melt together very well. But this has been a really real conversation. I really appreciate this.
The RVA reality check.
Yep.
Stay connected to Girl What podcast by following us online. You can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Girl What podcast. That's GURLWHET We'd love to keep in touch with you. Come on, keep talking with us. That's what we do, right? So we have our, reflections. If you have any questions, comments, or you yourself want to reflect on anything you've heard us talk about, please don't be afraid to hit us up. Again, you can hit us up in our DMs on Instagram, or if you want to comment under one of our YouTube posts, you're more than welcome to do so. Again, both of those handles are Girl What podcast, GURLWHET
And you also have the option to leave us a voice memo in our DMs or leave us a voice message at 804-476-0905. Again, that number is 804-476-0905. And with your permission, we may feature it in a future episode. Your voice helps us shape meaningful dialogue on Girl What. So remember to stay in community. Remember to stay bold. And girl, keep talking.